Today I'll be going over the lyrics of Ievan Polkka by Loituma, so stay tuned. I would firstly like to thank Debbie Prince and Mahmoud Obaid. Hopefully you don't mind me how I pronounce your names, but I did want to start saying people's names out loud or try my best to say them correctly, just to show my thanks to you guys. And yeah, so I really wanted to thank you for your super thanks and for helping to support this channel and help, keep my channel running. I do appreciate it a lot. So kiitos teille molemmille tosi paljon. Alright, so today we're going to be discussing Ievan Polkka. I hope I'm pronouncing it okay. Fun fact, I always thought it was Ievan Polkka. I don't know why. It just sounds more Finnish than Ievan, because that sounds a bit Russian to me, so it didn't even cross my mind that it would be like that. I wasn't paying attention. This song is like a traditional Finnish polka tune is what they translate it as. So polka tune. And the lyrics were printed in 1928, and actually the song is sung in dialect, so the lyrics are written in dialect as well, like an Eastern Savonian, Eastern Savo accent or dialect, and that's why it's a little bit tricky even for me, because I'm not very familiar at all with the Eastern dialect. I've not even really been to Eastern Finland much. So it is a little bit tricky for me as well, but I will do my best. And Ieva, which is the title of the song, the Ieva, translates to, no, it doesn't translate to, it's like an Eastern version of the name Ieva. So, for example, in other parts of Finland, you'll hear the name Ieva. It's a it's like a semi-common Finnish female name, Ieva. So then the Eastern version of that is Ieva, I guess, and Ievan Polkka means Ieva's polka. So the first verse starts off, says, I'll try to say it in dialect, Naapurista kuuluu se polkan tahti. So naapurista kuuluu se polkan tahti, which means from the neighbors, naapurista, from the neighbor's place, kuuluu, you could hear, se, that, polkan, the polka's tahti, beat. So from the neighbor's place, you could hear the beat of the polka. Then the next line says, jalkani pohjii kutkutti. Jalkani is like jalkani, so the bottom of my foot. Pohjii is like bottom, I think. So the bottom of my foot, kutkutti. I think that just means like the bottom of my foot was feeling like it wanted to dance. Then it says, Ievan äiti se tyttöönsä vahti. See, I'm having already trouble reading the dialect. Ievan äiti se tyttöönsä vahti. So Ieva's mom, Ievan äiti mom, se, that, tyttöönsä, her daughter, vahti. Vahtia is to like watch over something, to guard something. So Ieva's mother was kind of guarding, keeping an eye out for her daughter, watching over her daughter. Vaan kyllähän Ieva sen jutkutti. So vaan kyllähän Ieva. But anyhow, Ieva tricked her, is what I'm gonna guess that means. Because if you jutkuttaa someone, can't that mean you're like tricking them? So, but anyways, Ieva tricked her. Sillä ei meitä silloin kiellot haittaa. Sillä for ei no meitä, us, silloin, therefore, then, in that case, kiellot. To kieltää someone to do something is to tell them not to do something. So kiellot is kind of like things you're not supposed to do, things you've been told not to do. haittaa is to matter, so that kind of means, so then what we've been told not to do doesn't matter. Kun myö tanssimme laidasta laitaan. Kun, when, myö, I'm gonna guess that's like when I, kun myö tanssimme, kun me no, kun myö tanssimme, I think it's kun me tanssimme, so when we dance, tanssia is to dance, laidasta laitaan is from one end to the other, so a laita is like the edge, or like, yeah, so if you go from laita to laita, you're going from one end to the other, so from one edge to the other edge of the place where you're at. So when we dance from this side to this side, and then this like salivili, hipput, tuput, blah blah blah, that stuff makes no sense. It doesn't mean anything at all. Oh, this is a really tricky one because I did look at the English translations that people have done online, and some of them sound a bit funny, or like the translations are a bit weird. Tipput hiljalleen. Like for me it sounds like you're falling slowly, but maybe this tipput is just a nonsense word, and then hiljalleen is hiljalleen, which is the slowly bit. Anyways, let's move on. Ievan suu oli vehnäsellä. So Ieva's mouth was, vehnäsellä means wheaty. Ieva's mouth was wheaty, which someone said it means she's grinning widely. I wouldn't have known this. Ko immeiset onnea toivotti. So ko, I think is kun immeiset, ku ihmiset onnea toivotti, I think is what it's meaning. So when people were giving their wishes, pää oli märkänä jokaisella. So pää, is that pää or just oli märkänä jokaisella? So something was wet on everyone, and I think what this is referring to is sweat. So because people were dancing, everyone was wet, which I think it means everyone was sweaty. Ja viulu se vinkui ja voevotti. Ja viulu is a violin. So ja viulu se and violin it, vinkui ja voevotti. Vinkua is to kind of like squeak. Ja voevotti is squeaking and moaning. The violin, that is. Ei tätä poikoo märkyys haittaa. Ei tätä. No that, not that. Poikoo, I think is poika, so boy. Märkyys, being wet, haittaa, matters. So this boy doesn't mind the wet, so his sweat, I think, is what it's referring to. Silloinko laskoo laidasta laitaan. Okay, this part I'm not 100% sure. Silloin, when, ko laskoo, this I will have to check. Laidasta laitaan again from one end to the other, and then there's some nonsense words again. Okay, I'm gonna do one more bit. Ievan äiti se kammarissa virsiä veisata huijuutti. So Ievan äiti, Ieva's mother, se kammarissa. Kammari is like a chamber. Virsiä is like hymns, I think, lyrics, hymns. For example, you would sing virsiä in a church, so you would sing hymns in a church. So I think what it's meaning is she was humming some tunes, some of these hymns in the chamber. Kun tämä poika naapurissa, when this boy in the neighbor. Alright, so in this part of the video I started getting quite confused, so I did a bit more research and now I can finish this verse more confidently. So where I got stuck was kun tämä poika naapurissa ämmän tyttöä nuijuutti. So kun tämä poika, when this boy naapurissa, naapuri is neighbor, naapurissa in the neighbor, so next door, I guess, like in the neighborhood, like right beside there in the neighbor. Ämmän tyttöä nuijutti. So ämmä is actually, I'll put it up on the screen here, but basically in a large part of Finland these days, this word is actually a very degrading way to call a woman. So don't use this word to describe a lady unless you're wanting to be very rude and degrading towards them, because yeah, in most part of Finland these days, it is a very rude word to use towards a woman. So yeah, as you can see from this little thing I put on the screen, it's number 1 point, it says it's degrading, derogatory, especially towards an older woman. And then number 2, it just says it's a degrading word used for a wife, for your wife. And then number 3 is where I think this originally was used for, is in Eastern dialect it means grandma, but then in a lot of the English translations I saw that people were translating it to mother. So I think just like an older lady figure, maybe either her mother, grandma, unclear I guess. So I would imagine, since this song was written a long time ago and it is in Eastern dialect, it probably wasn't derogatory back then. And then I was I'd never heard of this like nuijutti word before, and I was like, what on earth is this? I googled it, there wasn't much information. The one thing I found, oh goodness, I clicked something. I did find one person who wrote online that it means to dance in Savo dialect. So this is just one person on a random blog, but it's the only thing I could find. From this evidence, I guess we can kind of conclude that the meaning of this part of the lyrics are something like when the boy next door was dancing with the lady's daughter. And then the next part was eikä tätä poiko ämmät haittaa. So eikä tätä, and not this, poiko, poika, boy, ämmät, ladies, derogatory, but at that point I think it was just ladies, haittaa, to mind, and this boy doesn't mind the mom, doesn't mind the lady, or like, because ämmät is in plural here, so it doesn't mind wives in general, ladies in general, something like that. And then silloin kun laskoo laidasta laitaan, so then when laskoo was the word I didn't know what it meant, laidasta laitaan, from side to side. I did Google this and I found again one answer. This person called Omma, she said, jos mietitään, että Ievan Polkassa lauletaan ei tätä poikoo märkyys haittaa silloin kun laskoo laidasta laitaan, niin sanoisin, että tanssiminen olisi oikein ja sana tulisi jostain päin Savoa. So basically what she's saying is she thinks that it means to dance, and it comes from some area in Savo. So based on context, that does make sense, and there wasn't much else information online that I could really find. So I think we can conclude that that means then when we dance from side to side, or like from one side to the other, one end of the room to the other. That does make sense, right? So yeah, in this case we can say lasko probably means to dance. Yes. To be honest, the song is mostly just about dancing, I suppose. I'll leave a few links in the description box below where you can go and take a look at some of the other people's English translations. It is a toughie, even for, well, maybe not for all Finnish people, for me in particular, just because it's in dialect. Maybe I'm just bad at dialects in general. I know people often ask me, oh, can you talk on your channel a bit more about Finnish dialects? And I'm like, haha, I would need to do a lot of research because I am really, really, really bad at dialects. I've not been exposed to them much. I can't imitate them either, and sometimes it's hard for me to understand them even. So, but that's probably a me problem. But anyways, I gave it an attempt. Sorry it was so bad and awful. But go listen to the song. It is very, very famous, and I think it's something a lot of you must have heard, because I have gotten this request to talk about this song for some time now over the years, and I did my little attempt at trying to do it, but it is tough. But yeah, thank you for watching. Kiitos kun katsoitte ja nähdään ensi videossa. Moikka!